This week, we've seen Apple versus Google take another twist. For some time now, we've seen Apple plugging various privacy gaps on iPhones and putting Android into a bad light, while Google has just turned the tables in a wryly amusing way.
So, Zach, what's happening between Apple and Google? This battle's really ramping up, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And whilst we've seen Apple patch or put privacy enhancements into things like Maps and Photos and Safari and the Core OS, with innovations like Private Relay and hiding mail addresses and all the rest of it, all of which puts Google into a bad light, and Android follows on, but can't follow on that fast because it has a very different business model. The one area where Apple has a serious Achilles heel is iMessage, where it has decided for commercial reasons that it is going to limit secure messaging to people on Apple devices only in amongst themselves. So you can't securely message between an Android and an iPhone using a stock messenger. You revert to old-fashioned SMS. And Google has started to poke fun at this, and the latest update is that it is now trying to intercept translate reactions within iMessage that it can then showcase within RCS. It is ridiculous that Google is reverting to these 1980s tactics to try and create a cross-platform messenger in a world of WhatsApp and the rest. Apple and Google need to sort this out.
But there's an argument, isn't there, that would suggest that, or would say that, does Apple really need to be that interested with Android users' security and privacy?
But it's not just Android users' privacy, because, back in the old days when you were an Android user, if you sent me something and I'm on Apple, then it's my privacy as well. That's the point. It's not as if Apple users only ever send important stuff to each other. The fact is, as an Apple user, I cannot send a secure message to an Android user without reverting to an over-the-top independent platform. And that just feels to be, if you remember, we're all old enough to remember the early days of SMS and cross-platform messaging and what innovation it was when you could SMS between networks, and how it had gradually improved. It almost feels a bit like that, where the technology is clearly there. It's a stupid impediment to have, and it just needs some grown-up decision-making, and it needs fixing. Yeah,
you just have to use WhatsApp at the moment, don't you? That is literally the only thing you can do to remain secure, because there are no secure
Signal. Sorry. Yeah, or Signal.
Yeah, so we're using look, you're right. WhatsApp has stepped in to fill the gap, and whilst WhatsApp is owned by big bad Facebook, it is actually a very secure platform. When you listen to the WhatsApp guys, when they talk to us about the innovations they're putting in place, it genuinely feels like it is a security and privacy first platform. And yeah, they're monetizing, and obviously the Facebook marketing machine has got hold of that. But for everyday use, it's absolutely fine. And where it clearly trumps Signal is just on network effects, right? There's just 2 billion users versus, I don't know what there is now, tens of millions of users on Signal. Most of the people will be on WhatsApp. But in essence, Apple and Google have left the door open for Facebook's WhatsApp to fill it. It just seems crazy that that they wouldn't, at this stage, this late in the day, have fixed this problem that has pertained since iMessage was introduced, all those years ago.